Hello. Hello everyone, MVL here, and today we are going to take a look at the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Cowabunga collection on the Switch. Most of the pre-3D Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or TMNT, games are on this fantastic collection. It's brand new, it was released just a couple of days ago. I picked this up from Game, and we're going to take a look at that in this video. I'm going to review the games, the extra features. We're also going to open this up as well and show you what's inside of this. This is the regular edition, and without further ado, let's just get started and check out this amazing collection of retro games. Alright, so here is the collection itself. Now, for those of you old enough to remember, here's my original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game on the Nintendo Entertainment System right here. And as we called it over here, it was Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles over here in the UK, for anyone that remembers that rebranding. That was due to censorship. It was mildly different. The nunchucks, I believe, were replaced in the game, and the title, of course, was changed because Ninja is too violent. But there we go. This game is on the collection. It's actually the beat 'em up games on this collection that I'm really looking forward to. Turtles in Time and games like that. They have arcade games on this and console games. But yeah, just wanted to show that there for anyone that was familiar with that. That game is on here. Hey Jug, how you doing, buddy? Welcome to the stream. You're just in time. We're about to open up the game, and then we will be putting this into a Switch and having some gameplay footage for this game as well. So let's get started. I have an effect on my microphone that removes any unwanted noise, such as breaking the seal here, so you won't hear that, but we will hear the game in action when it comes to it as well. I actually can't see a seam on this to break into it, so I actually am going to use my first cheat code here, which will be a pair of scissors, just to get into that easily. And we will get into the package right here. Hope you're doing well, Jug. Good to see you, my friend. This is a live review, so I will be answering any questions and comments as they come in and I notice them. So there's the front of the cover right there. There's the spine. This is the PAL version as well, so you have that green marker down there, and the title is in capitals aligned to the middle. And there's the back of the box as well. This does have some online features for multiplayer, as I'm aware, but I won't be using that in this video. But I am particularly excited for couch co-op on this. Some of the games on this collection, Hyperstone Heist, for example, the Mega Drive, or if you will, Genesis version of the popular games on this collection, is particularly sought after, and the resale value is expensive, so that's a good one to get on this. We'll have a look inside of the collection right here. There is some internal art. I always like seeing some internal art in these things. It's a nice addition rather than a blank white inlay. And here is the cartridge itself for this collection, and we're going to be putting that in the Switch right away. So like I mentioned, this is the regular version. There is a fancier edition out there with more special features, more extras, more physical inclusions included, but this was the regular edition, and pretty much I just wanted the game, so that's what I was after. So I'm going to put this in the Switch right now, and we will get to, unless there's any updates for the game, we will get to having a look at the interface that we will be looking at in just a moment. So there is a update that must be downloaded, so I am downloading that right now. Good to have that, to have the game to its maximum on release. It is a very small download, so we will get to that, and then we'll be playing the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Cowabunga collection on the Switch. Alright, so let's get to it. Some TMNT on the Switch. Alright, the game is loaded up now, so I will switch over to that as we get ready for some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles action. Alright, one of the things of doing a live review, of course, is you will have to sit through updates as they come, but it was a very small update. We're into the game now proper. And we are ready to roll. We've got the music. Now, as I understand, some of the tunes in these games were altered slightly. Something else that was altered was the references to Pizza Hut, I think, were taken out. Love the title screen, love that artwork. Now, this is coming out after the Shredder's Revenge game, which I also did a unboxing of. Great game, so there's a bit of a resurgence for this IP. Let's see what the options are. Hey Secrets, how you doing? Nice, you want this game? Okay, so we have the Language and the Rumble. Okay. There's some extra features in the Turtles layer. We're going to take a look at those after we've had a look at the games, because I know you guys will want to see the games. You've got local play and online play. And there are the games as well. So that's a little bit confusing to me. Is local play, would you click on that for local co-op? I find that a little bit confusing. So what happens if I click on the games? So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is, I believe, the arcade version. On the bottom there under the title you have an arcade cabinet. So I think this is the arcade version. We can change the region with the X button. Now we have the Japanese version. So that's an availability if you want that. That's pretty cool, I like that. Back to the US version. So the original version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles I would have been PAL version. So it's great to get the 60Hz version. There's some enhancements here as well if we press the minus button. We can set the starting level, we can turn on God Mode, we can remove the penalty bombs, and we can turn Nightmare Mode on and off. Okay, pretty interesting, cool. So one thing I will be curious about if there's any input lag on these games, not to be confused with slowdown like the original hardware might have had. I think the Switch is a very good console for these kind of games as well because of the portability. We have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time. This is as well the arcade version. 2-player action on this one as well. So we can change the region on this as well to see if there's any differences between that and the Japanese region version. And what enhancements do we have available for this as well? We can set the starting level, God Mode, button dash, remove penalty bombs, Nightmare Mode, Turbo Mode on as well. Okay, interesting. Next game we have here is, this is the Super Nintendo version, I believe. Turtles in Time. You can also change the region on this one as well. Pretty cool. I like that. Awesome feature. What enhancements do we have on this game? We set the starting level, the button dash, and extra lives can be turned on. So if you want those enhancements, you can have them. They're available to you in-game. We'll have a look at what the in-game menu does as well when it comes to it as well. You also have Tournament Fighter. That looks pretty cool. Fighting game. Also have the alternate region of that as well available. Mutant Warriors. Pretty cool, pretty cool. We have Hyperstone Heist. Now this is a Genesis, or if you will, Mega Drive game. So the last one was Super Nintendo, or the last two we saw with Super Nintendo rather. And this was Mega Drive, if you call it over here. Pretty cool. Change the region on this one as well. See that? I like that you have the different regions available on here. It's a nice inclusion. Enhancements, you can set starting level and turn off friendly fire or turn it on if you want. Tournament Fighters, the Mega Drive version. Also have the alternate region here as well. A couple of enhancements available. Playable bosses can be turned off and on. Then we have for the NES, we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You can change the region to Japanese as well. Can't change it to PAL by the looks of it. No Hero Turtles in this instance. This is a platform game. Most of the others are fighting games or beat 'em up games. I will say that this game is well known to be difficult. as in NES hard. We also have TMNT2, the arcade game, on the NES as well. I'm judging that by the controllers that I see below, what version we have, but this was the NES version of its kind of own version of the arcade game, if you will. But I imagine they can show the controller but not list the console, but this is the NES version. We can set the starting level, remove slowdown, remove sprite flicker, so that's a very interesting feature. So you can do better than the limitations of the original hardware. And extra lives God mode, fancy jump kicks, fancy! We also have the Manhattan Project on the NES as well. Region here changed to Japanese as well. Where would be Turtles 2 in that region. Set starting level, remove slowdown, remove sprite flicker. That seems to be a mainstay on the NES versions. How are you doing, by the way, Henry, as well? Appreciate you dropping by. Easy menu navigation, infinite lives, and easy mode. Okay, I like these extra features if you want to have a casual playthrough. Then we have Tournament Fighters on the NES as well. I will be sampling all of these games on this live stream so you can get a look at them as well. There's the Japanese version. The enhancements for this, so remove the sprite flicker. And the clash of hotheads can be turned off, and the slowdown as well. And then we have for the Game Boy, Fall of the Foot Clan. Very impressive to see the Game Boy games included on this collection as well. I love the menu, by the way, with a comic book appeal. Japanese version included as well. I understand why they didn't include PAL versions. You can turn on a bonus practice game as well. We also have the second Game Boy game, Back from the Sewers, which scrolls a little bit faster. It's in black and white, of course. The Game Boy was black and white but had a green tinted screen. Interesting that it doesn't appear that they allow you to put on the Game Boy Color colors. It wouldn't be properly colorized, but it might be something some people might want. We've got Radical Rescue here as well, the third Game Boy game. And the Japanese version is included. Turtles Close Call, as it would be. Very cool. We can turn on helpful map icons. Alright, so without further ado, guys, we've had a look at all of the games included in this collection. There's also, if you press the Y button, you have a watch function where you can watch the games in action. As I understand, you can actually watch the games being played for almost a perfect playthrough, and then jump in at any point you would like to. So if you press the watch mode, watch the game being played, you can jump in at any point you want to jump in. So I was to fast forward a little bit right here. Fast forward to the ZR buttons, like fast forward a little bit. I believe I can just press the Y button and just jump in here and I'm playing it myself. So whilst we're at it, what features do we have on the menu? What would be our menu button here? Right, it's the R button. So we can load game, save game, strategy guide. That's interesting. Control, screen size original, full size, wide if you want to, and original. Okay, I'm going to go to full size, I think. We can have a CRT filter on. I've always been a fan of just playing it with sharp pixels. I do love CRTs, but I'm not a fan of a digital recreation of a CRT. It's a real thing or not so to me. But you've got a couple of features there, TV or monitor. LCD filter for like an old flat screen. Old flat screens are kind of good if you want to experience original resolutions. I actually have a fairly old flat screen, and it handles a lot more resolutions than a 4K screen would. And you can turn the border on and off. No different border options, but I do like that you have the option to turn it off. So there's that. Alright, yeah, let's quit this game because we just jumped into it at a random place. Actually, I will turn the borders off and then I will change my capture size. I think that's what I'll do actually. So we'll play some of the arcade game. We will play as the leader. So what I will do actually before we begin, get rid of these borders, then change my screen size and open broadcast software, OBS. There we go. Alright, you're going to lose a little bit of the screen here, but the actual game screen will be full size this way. So this is the arcade game. Beat 'em up game. Why do they say in a half shell? Because they're not in a half shell, it's a full shell. Alright, let's actually play. I believe the start button adds credits in. There's no sample voices there. Let's get into the action. Gonna be using the D-pad on the Pro Controller here. Hey, I'm Saviz, how you doing? Oh. Asking the deep questions. Why do they say half shell? Oh. The sound effects on this game. Hey Trevor, how you doing, buddy? Welcome. I always didn't like the sound effect of the blades. I always felt like they kind of like pinged a little too much. Watch out for those balls. Now this is an arcade game. It's going to be a little brutally difficult to make you spend credits, but I think we have infinite credits here, on at least on the arcade games. So there's that. Pretty cool we have the arcade game on here, definitely. A lot easier to play it through this officially licensed version of it as well. I'm talking instead of fighting. Than it is to try and, you know, secure it by another means and get it running. Definitely very cool. Love the arcade game. It's the sound effect hitting these robots. That sound effect. Oh my goodness. Never like that sound effect. I put it akin to like nails on a chalkboard, or like, you know, like polystyrene. See, if you like move polystyrene on another sheet of polystyrene, it's not a pleasant sound. The fire is not there in the NES version, I believe. I put several credits in, I think, so we're good. This isn't a proper playthrough, this is a bit of a sample, if you will. Oh, he's got a weapon. Nice. And we'll also show the NES version of this as well a little bit later on, so you'll be able to compare them. Now, the NES version I have would have been through composite. Oh, there's less of it in the NES version. Fire, that is. No smoke, maybe. Been a while. We'll see it anyway. We'll be able to compare. Ooh. He's got a weapon. You don't have infinite continues as far as I'm aware on the... it would be Turtles 2 as well, I think. Ooh. Oh my goodness, this guy's firing all over the place. Flashing enemies. Like here we could put in as many credits as we want. Scene 2. Alright, so we're just going to sample the games because we've got a lot of games to show for now. But that is that. Let's go back to the game screen. You've got save states on this by the looks of it as well, so if you were struggling in any section, you have the option to get past that. Alright, Turtles in Time arcade version. A wonderful game. We have both the arcade version and the Super Nintendo version. Likewise, we'll be able to test our memory and also compare them, what they look like between each other. Like I mentioned, on my NES, for example, we would have been going through, if I was to use the real hardware for my Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles game, we would have been going through composite video, and I tell you for sure that this version will look better than that. Despite the fact that this is emulation, but I didn't notice any input lag or anything like that. It seemed to work fine for me. Anyway, we'll dive into this on the arcade version. I will play as the leader yet again. You like composite, MC Vids? You know, I've been a big fan of RGB SCART, which we have over here in the... I mean, we don't have that on the NES, but it's definitely... You can definitely get better picture than that video mode, for sure. It has its charm, you know, whatever people like playing is for sure. There's no right or wrong answer, definitely. Alright, pause the game for a second while I change the video mode. Hey, Comic Man, you waiting for your copy patiently? Yeah, I picked mine up today, actually, in a game store. So I was happy to grab this. In the UK at the moment, there is a postal strike going on, so I elected to pick it up at a local game store. Yeah, they don't seem to have the European versions, MC Vids, for sure. By that, because, you know, I've got the European NES game right here, and it would be called Hero Turtles if that was the case.
My toes! My toes!
Gonna wait 2 weeks. Are you getting yours from the overseas Comic Man? Alright, let's pump some credits in and press all the buttons until we press start, because these are different buttons. Love the graphics of this game. One of, if not easily top 5 beat 'em up games of all time, for sure. You knew I'd jump on this collection, Trevor? Yeah, definitely. I just had to get it. Konami did a good job with this for sure, Seacrest. Oh, and this game we can do some like crazy stuff like throw people towards the screen, which I don't think has a purpose in the arcade version, but in the console version you need to defeat Shredder by doing that. Look at that, scaling sprites. Look at that, so good looking game as well. I believe there was an Xbox 360 like 3D version of this, and they did the same treatment for Double Dragon Neon. I could be wrong, it might just have been Double Dragon. That was on the Xbox 360 Online service, but I don't think that exists anymore, so you can't get it. Watch out for the big ball. There's the pizza. I believe the Pizza Hut references were removed, so that is one thing that I am aware that is different on this version. Oh. That big ball slamming in the background.
Pizza time!
Pizza time! Bang! Such a colourful game, such a great looking game. Yeah, Shredder's Revenge was definitely inspired by this Seacrest. Shredder's Revenge, if anyone hasn't checked that out, great game. It takes inspiration from the original NES game with an overworld, but it is a beat 'em up game akin to Turtles in Time, and alike. Very much inspired by this game. Fantastic. You like the references in Shredder's Revenge vids? Lots of great references as well. A lot of references to the cartoon, and they had most of the cast. Oh, that's a big head. Most of the cast that they could get were in it as well, which is very cool. So, almost like a love letter or an homage, I would say, to the original. And it's definitely... I wonder if there is like a new cartoon or a new film on the way with the IP of intellectual property of the Turtles being so hot right now. Oh, we've got lots of credits. Credits will do fine. Oh, I could do with that. Pizza time! Nice. Play through Shredder's Revenge on Game Pass vids. Yeah, everyone played it before me because I was waiting for the physical copy, but I got my physical copy from Signature Edition Games. So I got, you can see I did an unboxing video for it, and there's a bunch of extras that came with it. I actually got the face mask of this turtle, which I wore for most of the video. And I was, you know, that seemed to be the version to get, because Limited Run Games, their Amazon version is still not released. You know, they put stuff up, this is not a detriment to Limited Run, but they put stuff up before they've produced it. So I definitely got my game a lot before them, and I remember actually that there was a post, a social media post, that the Signature Edition Games version, oh, you'll be getting this version way before the Limited Run version. It might have ruffled some feathers, and I think they had to remove that social media post. But I definitely did. I got my copy, I think, towards the end of July, if I'm not mistaken. Alright, there's the start of that. The start of that. Like I mentioned, guys, we've got a lot of games to go through. so we're going to be moving through games pretty quickly. I'm almost tempted to just leave the borders up and not switch. Hey Andrew, how you doing, buddy? Welcome. So the next game we have here is Turtles in Time, the Super Nintendo version. And that is, they denote that through the controllers, as I mentioned at the bottom, underneath the title, but they also have the box art there as well. But I don't think they are allowed to have the Super Nintendo logo or the Genesis logo or what have you on the screen, because there's a different licensing for that. Hope they include the patch on the physical cartridge vids. Yeah, you know what? I did have a couple of issues when I did play through it. You doing good, Job? Good to hear, my friend. Alright, let's get into some Super Nintendo version. We can compare that to what we just played on the arcade version. So let's have a look at this. They actually have done some Disney collections recently, Comet Man. I haven't checked them out myself yet, but definitely pretty cool that those exist, for sure. Change the screen size as well. Yeah, I think if I'm not wrong, they probably just can't put Nintendo or Sega like names due to copyright or what have you, some sort of reason like that. Whoa, screen flashing. Something that looks a lot more natural on a CRT actually is flashing and shadows and transparency. Alright, let's just begin as is. You're definitely picking this up, Sequest? Yeah, it's definitely... I mean, Hyperstone Heist by itself is... That's like an 80 to 120 pound game, I think, by itself. On resale value, that is. On, like, if you were to buy it on eBay. So, you're definitely getting your money's worth for this if you just want to play the games, for sure. For the fully licensed versions as well. Appreciate me zooming in, vids. Yeah, it's a little bit of a hassle, but I think it does look better to have more of the screen size on there without the borders. I'm not a big fan of the borders. Oh yeah, for sure, Comet Man. They probably also, if you were buying this on the PlayStation, your Sony console probably wouldn't want Nintendo games on there. Definitely. Alright, so this will be the 16-bit version of the arcade game. It's going to look a little bit different. This is the version I think a lot of people would have played. The scaling is going to be a little bit different as well on the sprites. There's also slight differences in the levels. If I throw someone towards the screen, you'll notice it'll be a little bit different as well. The way it handles the scaling on that. Yeah, you see it, instead of like making them like get bigger as they go towards the screen, it was a series of different images. April never says hurry up. Hey zombie, you're making your coffee. Did you make me a coffee? Do I have a coffee as well? I actually neglected to make a coffee before streaming. So if you could, fax it to me. I will download it through the internet. Pour the coffee out through my speakers. Of course, thank you, zombie. Pizza box is in basically the same place. I think it was here on the arcade version, like right there. See if the explosion is any different. But very similar setup. There's some different levels here. So nice. It's done twice, Comet Man. I actually really appreciate that they put both versions in here as well. Do we have a fast forward and rewind feature here? Yes, we do. Okay, you can rewind a little bit. I think if people want to use that, it's absolutely fine. People can play games how they want to play games. I'm not going to say it's cheap to have a rewind feature. If you want to use it, then it's there. I will say that this plays faster than I am used to playing it, because I'm used to playing a PAL version, which would be around about 17% slower if it wasn't converted, which most of these games weren't converted properly to PAL. So most of these games I'm used to playing a little bit slower. You will be abusing that function, Comment Man. Yeah, to be fair, like, on the games where you don't have infinite continues, like, I really think, like, I don't know if it's really proving anything to do, like, the... You know what I mean? Like, if you've already beaten a stage, I don't think you should have to beat that stage 20 times again to beat the game, just to do the last stage. If that's where you're at, for example. Like, I think it's perfectly reasonable to, like, some people are very against it. Like, how dare you make a save state? Like, I ran into the ball himself. But, you know, if you've already beaten a stage, like, you're only proving your patience and your spare time by having to beat that stage another 20 times to get back to where you were before. Like, you know, you've already beaten that stage. But then, there are purists out there that will say that that is how the game was intended to be played, and fair. US to 60 Hz, yeah, Andrew. So it'll be a little bit faster, around about 17% faster with the conversion. We have a slightly faster frame rate over here, of 25 to the 24 of NTSC. But for the most part, these were made with Japanese JNTSC or NTSC 60 Hz in mind. So instead of like adapting them to the picture type we use, they tend to just slow them down. Something as retro gamers in the PAL region we sort of have to just deal with. This guy in his hand. Ooh. Ooh. Come on, Baxter, get down here. He was down there for a moment. At least we have more health. Yeah, save states are very common these days, for sure, Zombie. Oh, we finally got a hit in them. They were so close to going down. And boom, there you go. Yeah, I think, to be fair, Zombie, if save states were a thing when these games were released, people would have used them. So it's like, you know, like you can't say if it was part of the game to begin with that people wouldn't use them. They would definitely use them. Alright, so that is the 16-bit Super Nintendo version of the same game. Yeah, exactly, Seacrest. Some people are very busy and they can't spend much like that amount of time, especially when you're beating the stage that you've already beaten as well. Alright, that is that one. Using passwords is cheating. Said no one ever. MC Vince. Yeah, exactly. You know, people used to use the... I'm looking over because I have a Game Genie over there. I actually have to use the Game Genie with my NES because I modded my NES with something called the Blinking Light Win. I did a video of that ages ago where I have to load in front without pushing down with this new loader because as you guys may know, the NES, the original model, where you push down, it bends the pins that read the cartridge. So I have to use a different method, and to do that, because it's such a tight fit, I have to use the Game Genie basically every time I want to use it, or I can't pull the carts out. Anyway, let's play some Tournament Fighters rather. We just played Turtles in Time. I can't speak. Alright, Tournament Fighters. So this is a 1v1 fighting game. I have not played the 1v1 fighting games, so we'll just give it a go. We're playing the US version of all of these games, by the way. Glad to see you guys as well. Thanks for checking out the stream, my friends, as well. So, let's get into a battle. Press the start button. So we've got a bunch of characters here we can play as. I believe they're different between the Genesis and the Super Nintendo versions. We've got Shredder is on this version. We have Leo, got Ralph, got Don, Mike, got Armagon. I think these guys at the back might be locked or I can't get over to them. Oh, okay, you have to press up. We also have War. Huh. War. We've got Asuka. Now, I believe Asuka was meant to be one of the characters from one of the films where they went back in time, and it was meant to be a character from that film, but that film didn't do so well, so they didn't want to associate with that. So instead of using that character, they just made up a character, which is only, I think, in this game. So Asuka is only in this game, I believe. I think they should have just used the character. You've got a NES where you just put the cart in without pushing it down. So in America, you actually have the top loader, which we didn't get over here. The top loader had worse video out unless it was an AV modded one, which they actually modded themselves in a couple of models, but for the most part it used aerial or what have you. But yeah, we never got a top loader model, we only had the original model. I would have liked that, because even with the worse video it would have been a little... So I'm going to do what I... Oh my goodness, he's eating her. I'm going to do the thing I do in a lot of fighting games when I don't know the buttons, and I'm just going to press all of the buttons. You can't beat me. You can't defend against my strategy. Oh, that pressed the start button apparently. Okay. You can't fight against my strategy if I don't know what I'm going to do. Oh my goodness, they're wrecking me. Oh, you get stunned in this as well. That's rough. Is it one fight to finish, or is it two fights to finish? Use one fight to finish. No, we get round two. There we go. That's how you play every fighting game, man. Yeah. You know what? It's tough to remember controls. Like, at least I find that way. Oh my goodness. I must keep hitting the R button. See, what I normally do in fighting games is I play them with my hands like this, like you're pushing a arcade pad. And they've actually made a Street Fighter controller that's like that. There's no mercy on this game. They just wreck you. So I play fighting games like this. Some people think that's a little weird, but they actually made a PlayStation 4 Street Fighter controller which was flat on one side, so you hold it like this. Congratulations, you've won the match. Look at the shark got all the money. You're an unlucky guy to have to fight me. Makes sense. Oh, we got wrecked there, but in fairness, I'd never played that game before. Alright, let's try the next game. Mostly I just want to show you guys what these games look like, to show you everything included on this as well. Your original NES has a good pin connection inside. Huh, that's interesting, because like on my NES, before I modeled it, you definitely did have to push down on that one. That's the thing that does bend the pins though. Hyperstone Heist. So this one I'm very excited for. This game on the resellers market is incredibly expensive. This is the Genesis, or as we would call Mega Drive, beat 'em up game. Quite expensive to get a legitimate copy of this, so I'm very excited to give this one a go. Alright, let's get into the action. Never played this one, Comic Man? Yeah, it's pretty expensive. 16-bit on the Sega Mega Drive, or Genesis in this instance. Fighting game. A lot of debate, not just between, you know, which is better, Super Nintendo or Genesis, why not both, but also which of these games was better. Let's see how this game plays. I'm going to play as the first turtle again, just using the same turtle for every game so you guys can see by comparison. Similar story of course, but the levels are different. Right now the Statue of Liberty and Manhattan are disappearing. I believe this one travels through time. I have the treasured Hyperstone from Dimension X, and it's only a matter of time before I conquer the world. Turtles, I dare you to challenge me. Ha ha ha. Hey Shredder, what's going on? We won't let you get away with that. We'll find you with our high energy detector. High energy detector? Okay. I guess we're using a high energy detector. Let's bring in some high energy. to this battle. It's interesting. I've always found it weird to play a game designed for a 3-button controller with the diamond layout. I've always found that a bit weird. Shredder's looking good in the purple leotard. He's so muscly. Oh. Oh, take these guys out. This plays very well, I will say. Definitely a treat to play this. It's very smooth. Dare I say it, for my initial playing, smoother than Turtles in Time? Dare I say it? Oh, everyone's gonna fight me now. You said it. How dare you? You're not playing with power on a Genesis. Yeah, but I got blast processing. Hey Henry, appreciate you using the multifarious faces of the MVL from the member emoticons. Hope you guys are doing well as well. Yeah, I definitely recommend picking this up, guys. It is a treat. Oh, the robot's still making a very awkward sound when you hit them. Like a kind of... like scraping knives together. Very smooth playing game, though. Might be a little easier than Turtles in Time. At least from my initial... oh, and then we're getting... I jinxed it by saying it, didn't I? Oh. Stop running around, you Rodat. Get over here, R2-D2. Oh. Yeah, I like how this plays as well. These are all great games as well for multiplayer. You've got local and online play. I didn't understand why local multiplayer was on the title screen, seeing as you can just go into games and launch it that way, I imagine, and then have a player join. But it was, you know, you've got local multiplayer, and you've got online multiplayer as well. A lot of Foot Clan here. I like how you can turn direction very quickly in this game. And to be fair, the Pro Controller works very well for this. Beat 'em up games have always been a favourite of mine when it comes to like a short... I thought it would let me choose to go up the ladder so I could grab that pizza last minute. Yes, we know now. What do you know? But yeah, this is very good. Definitely enjoying this. And this game, to be fair, out of all of them was my biggest. Like I mentioned, the resale value of this game is quite steep. So this was one of the ones I was definitely looking forward to giving a go. I mean, having the arcade version of Turtles in Time was also a big interest of mine. Getting these officially licensed arcade versions on this collection as well was another definite get. Very smooth playing though. I like this this one a lot. Oh, he did the Yoshimitsu attack and jumped on his sword like a flea pouncing on you. The Tekken Yoshimitsu's move. One of the fighters of that fighting game that had a sword that rarely used it. Oh, he grabbed me. There we go. Oh, I should have known he was gonna... oh, yeah, you gotta remember not to go down those holes. Oh. It's a whole problem in of itself. They can walk over those holes. The Foot Clan, that is. It's ridiculous. But I can. There's a port of Twilight Princess and Wind Waker might be coming to the Switch. That would be pretty awesome. Oh, I got ran over. That'd be awesome, Common Man. I mean, they've been ported to the Wii U, so I imagine they probably use the Wii U versions. But you know, to be fair, there's still going to be people that haven't played them, so it's always cool to bring those titles to people that haven't played them before. Definitely. And you know, even I, having played them on like the original systems, I would still probably pick them up if I could get another copy of them. with some quality of life improvements. Take that. This is a very good game. I know I've been spending... I said I was going to sample each game, but I was going to go to a boss. I haven't met a boss yet, which I did on the other games, except on the fighting game where I got my butt kicked pretty quickly. This does have an online mode, Andrew, as well. Yeah, I think you need the Nintendo Online membership for it, though. I think it said that on the back of the box. So I'll give this game a little bit more time, and then I'll switch over to another game. Well, I mean, I'll give this game until we get to a boss, I should say. That's what I'm intending. Or if we run out of lives, I suppose. Oh. Yeah, I thought that as well, MC vids. Maybe some of them are configured a little differently. Definitely, like, my NES, which is... It's funny because the system is about as old as I am. And it still works aside from that loading mechanism, but that's really a design flaw. But I changed that out, it still works absolutely fine. Whereas you get one of the modern consoles, like your PlayStation number 5, that thing stops working inside of 4 years. Ooh. I bought a brand new Xbox 360. Not the early models as well, which were prone to the blinking light. Oh, Xenomorphs. I bought a brand new Xbox 360 and it lasted 2 years before it stopped working permanently. And I was like, wow, they really don't build them like they used to. NES from 1987 still works. With minor modding. Xbox 360 from whenever I got it, like, I don't know, 2017 or something, worked up till 2019. Have at 'em. I don't remember when I bought it, but it wasn't that long ago. It stopped working not very long ago. I got it when they stopped making Xbox 360s. Their latest model. And my reasoning was, I'll get the latest one they made, because it'll have the most space in it, and it'll last for the longest time. Okay, we got a boss. Revenge of the Gator. You are too immature to hang with me. Well, he is a teenager. Not a middle-aged mutant ninja turtle. That guy's throwing all the knives. Right, so stay away from him after that. Okay. Eventually they're going to come running at me. Yeah, that's what I need to avoid. But also that. Ouch. The other side of the screen. Oh, that was unfortunate. I think I've got one life left, even if I go down here. L got me down. Hey, no worries, Comic Man. Thanks for checking out the stream, my friend. Appreciate you dropping by, and I will catch you next time, buddy. Oh, he's flashing. That means you know he's weak. Alright, I have been beaten by a bunch of teenage turtles. Put that guy to bed. Great game as well. Definitely. Thanks for checking out, Comic Man. I'll see you next time, buddy. Alright. Oh, and then we get a surfing stage. That's pretty cool. You know what? I can't help but always be reminded of Battletoads when I play Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Alright. So that was Hyperstone Heist. Great game, great game. Should have used the gas canister to blow that up. Like in Resident Evil 2, Henry. Alright, so Tournament Fighters, the Genesis version. Let's give this one a little go. I believe the characters on this one are different. Remember how tough the first game is on the NES, Trevor? Yeah, definitely. That one I will be definitely getting some game overs on. Alright, so we have Leonardo, got Casey Jones, we have Ray, we have Donatello, we have Raphael, we have April O'Neil is in this game, that's kind of cool. Alright, I'm going to play as April O'Neil. A rarity to be able to play as that character. Sure. In the new game you can play as her. Bioplanet. We're fighting Clone Leo. Yeah, so this game it expanded its roster by just recoloring the turtles. Don't tell me the jump button is up. It's, oh my goodness, the jump button is up. Now this game is difficult. Hey, Raccoon Evil, how you doing, buddy? Welcome. Gonna get my butt kicked on this game. For sure. Never played this fighting game either. Press all of the buttons. I don't know why there's a taunt button. But I suppose it was meant for either a 6-button or 3-button controller, I suppose. Alright, so that's this game. Instant replay of me not doing much. Got destroyed by a clone of Leo. How about that? Well, let's go back to the selection screen. Definitely love what I played so far though on the beat 'em up games. So we're on to the NES game. As some may remember, I have the, of course, PAL version right here, Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles. Over here, we're going to play a little bit of the NES game. Now the enhancements such as save states here are going to be very useful, definitely. So let's give this one a go. Alright, we've got the flickers intact as it would be. Alright, so I can change my turtles, right? Get extra energy with pizza. Okay. I want Don, I think. Yes, because he's got a longer weapon. Yeah, these games do have enhancements, Raccoon. Yeah, I think we can turn off the flicker if we want to. Not during game, but we do have the option, for sure. That's a lot of enemies down there. I can't hit the ground. Okay. Yeah, if he ducks, he hits down. Okay. Maybe I picked the wrong turtle for this section. Oh boy, oh boy. Oh! Can I make this jump? Oh, not like that. Oh my goodness. I remember the respawning on this game was particularly brutal. So I think I have the wrong turtle for this part. Oh my goodness, come on. This is exactly like I remember. Oh my goodness. Yeah, because they respawn too quickly. Right, okay, I made it past one section. I need to change turtle. Right, I think that means we can move on now. Yes. This guy can hit creatures that are in front of him. Nice. Oh, I should have saved that pizza for the other turtle that got hurt. You remember playing this game, Henry? Yeah, I should have stuck with this turtle. So the reason why Don is useful is you can do stuff like hit enemies directly below you like that. Oh, but I have very low hit points on them. Should probably go back to Leo. Can we get the pizza zombie? Yeah, there's going to be some tactics for sure. This isn't a proper playthrough for myself though. We're just showing a little bit of it. The enemy is legitimately just running into the wall and let me hit them. Good stuff. Oh, escaped with April again. But yes, I remember this game very well. I'm just as good at it now as I was back then. I like some of the enemies that one of them's just like a burning person who's just on fire. It's like what are they thinking with the enemy designs? Being cheap and I'm hitting this guy before I get up there, because look at that nonsense. Like he can hit through the box. Right, I can deactivate him if I'm quick. Yeah, okay, it can be cheap like that. That's what I'll do. There we go, there we go. Yeah, Bebop just, I'm gonna run into the wall. Alright. That's why I gave you a pizza over there, I guess. Alright. Should I take that with the other turtle? Yeah. But there you go. Exactly as I remember it. Oh, yeah. Gotta keep changing your weapons on these guys so that you have the right weapon. Oh, this guy's back with a chainsaw, or whatever it is. And then if you wanted to, you could come back down here. And, of course, get that pizza again. So there you go, guys. That is the NES game. I love some of the enemies on this. Like, there's enemies that's just a dude on fire. Just like, this game's so crazy. They did take out references in the arcade games, for example, of Pizza Hut. We do have some more games to show, though. There's a tournament fighter. Look at that beautiful sprite flicker. You can turn that off. That would have been from the original hardware limitations of the amount of stuff it can show on screen. Alright then. Great to have that though. It's one of the must-haves to have. But man, that Technodrome. It's been a while. So now we're going to play the version of the arcade game on the NES. I don't remember there being fire, but I guess we'll test my memory. Maybe it's there, maybe it's just less. We'll see. We'll get it fired up, that's for sure. Yeah, the enemies respawn a lot in that game, Trevor, for sure. It's definitely a polarizing feature. Alright, we'll play it. One player. And We shall be the leader. 8-bit version of the arcade game. Fire, we gotta get out. Oh, there you go, there was fire. It takes up less of the screen. But it is there. The top of the screen is the... Hey, J Gaming, what's up, buddy? Welcome. Now, you can actually turn off the sprite flicker if you want to as well. Yeah, the fire is there, it just looks different. So my memory for this was not the best, because for the most part I would play the arcade game, given the chance between them, but it is cool that there is an 8-bit version. How you doing, Jay? And I would definitely, this is definitely more my style, beat 'em up game over the like hard as nails platformer of the other one. They of course refer to this as Turtles 2, the arcade game, but it is in fact the first game, the arcade game. The first arcade game rather, but done for the NES. Hard time doing special moves without an NES controller. MC vids, yeah, for sure. With the... I couldn't imagine playing this with a thumbstick. I'm using the D-pad. Definitely, I would say the NES controller is so good. It's a difficult thing to replicate, especially with, you know, the D-pad you have on this thing is not the same as an NES D-pad as well. And definitely if you were just using the Joy-Cons, I think, it would definitely be more difficult. Great music though, love the chip tunes as well. You often see in fighting games people who stay in the air the whole time. If they're very good, that's how they do it. I just go at it in a regular way. I'm not constantly hopping. I would tire myself out doing that. But you see them like, you know, just doing the jump kick all day. Makes sense. You can dodge and attack that way. The enemy is doing a lot of jump kicks, to be fair, as well. Play this with the NES Switch controller, MC Vids. Good shout, actually. They did do that. Glad to know it's compatible as well. They did it for the... I think you could only purchase it, at least over here in the UK. You had to be part of their online service and then you could buy it. Vids. But for sure, it seems like a good fit. That or the Super Nintendo controller, I think, would be good shouts for this type of game. I imagine it might also be compatible with some of those 8-bit Do controllers as well. It's actually pretty impressive how this looks, remembering this is an 8-bit version as well, that they did get the fire in there, and they did get a lot of the detail in as well. You know, it's a wild step up from, you know, like an Atari game, for example, you know, like a 2600 rendition. Which, you know, with the very quality of a lot of NES games sometimes, this is definitely very, very good 8-bit. These guys and their lasers, man. Never liked the sound effect when you hit those things. Had to remap the buttons, Vids? Yeah, that's fair. Alright, must defend April. Or rescue April, I would say. Oh, away they come. Oh. He knocked me right down. Still got another continue though. Get a couple of hits in before I can move away. Yeah. Yeah, so there's no smoke, but there is the fire. And we're all fired up. Oop. Very impressive though, considering. Oh, I got hit even though I hit them? Wow. A and B, real fast to hit enemies harder. Yeah, definitely. You know what? There are sort of like strategy guides for these as well included. So that might be something for that. So have these strategy guides actually. Can I zoom into these? Interact, yes. Okay. Interesting. So you got as many lives as you have. Okay, so you can enter a code to get extra lives here, and that does work. Interesting. Very cool. Like I mentioned, that if it's like part of the game, like the code was included, then that's cool. 10 lives on stage select as well. Okay. And then if you're playing the Japanese versions, you need different codes. Okay. I think they do have the manual as well, MC Vids, or they might just have scans of the cover, I'm not sure. I think they had to take out logos and stuff. Okay, so we have that. It's a nice inclusion. So they have one of those for each game, essentially. So that was the arcade game. We also have the Manhattan Project on the NES as well. We'll give that a sample. Make up for my previous blunder. Again, looks great for an 8-bit version. Alright, let's do it.
Cowabunga!
Sample voice there as well. Very impressive for the NES. The turtles are enjoying their vacation on a beach in Florida. When suddenly... Come on, April's report is just about to start. Here in the New York, crime is escalating every day. Gee, what happened? Bummer dudes, it's Shredder. Now, this is particularly impressive if you consider this being on the NES. I had a Simpsons game, I think it was Bart vs. the Space Mutants on the Amiga, and it had a opening cinematic, and that was an entire different floppy disk to the actual game, the cinematic, the little cartoon opening. Let's go, Turtles. They start the long hard battle. It's just beginning. This looks very good for an 8-bit version. The other game looks very good as well, to be fair. Like, as good as an 8-bit version of an arcade game can look. But yeah, this looks very good, very colourful. Foot Clan on the beach here. Interesting they moved the overlay to the bottom of the screen rather than the top for this game. I would have thought it would have been good at the top again, because then you get more space for the waves. But maybe that was their intention. More upper space for your jumps. Oh, I'm in a turtle sandwich here between two Foot Clan members. It's throwing stars though. Ban them back. These guys and their jump kicks. So cheap. Flat on the ground. Like a turtle. Again, the flicker as you move, you can turn that off in this version. If you want to. Throw sand in my face? Now that's dirty. That's a dirty fight tactic. Sand in the eyes. There's one thing I can't stand. It's sand. Guys, before they try and throw sand in my face, I'll knock them to the ground. Ah, they can hit me from below this decking. Looks like you can change your turtle mid. How come I can't hit him from below? But he can hit me from above and below. It's like how they can walk on the manholes, but you can't. They're putting out an outstanding performance, Trevor. Oh dear. Can't even be mad. Oh. Oh. They say life's the beach. But we're on the beach. Oh, they're behind the signposts. Could it be a sign of things to come? Or is it a bad sign? This one's very good as well. I mean, they're all very good. It's a fantastic collection. When you consider how many games are in this collection, it's not like a, you know, like 2-game collection. You know, the Disney game collections, they're very cool, but they're like 2 or 3 games on one cartridge. When given the size of the games, you know, licensing is a thing as well. But you know, this really makes use of the space you have on that Switch cartridge. You've got almost all of the 2D games. Not that anyone is really clamoring for the 3D games, that is. I think most people remember the 2D ones more fondly. You want to go to the beach, Jug? What have they got on the beach? Sand! Pocket sand. Oh! That's great. And these bosses on the NES versions. Oh. Rusty on. And memory. Not so good. No health bar in this game as well. But you know, a lot of the NES games, you know, the coined phrase of NES hard is a phrase for a reason. You gotta get through practice. It makes perfect on these guys. Yeah, I don't think I'm hitting him on certain diagonals. He has changed colour though, he's changed to red. It might mean he's hurt. He could be meant to be flashing, but on a flat screen, it doesn't register that as well. Yes, they were. Alright. Didn't repeat my mistakes of the previous game. Cowabunga, dudes. Got a surfing stage on this one as well, that's pretty cool. Alright. With that in mind, got a lot of games to show on this collection. So, we have the Tournament Fighters game, as well, NES version. Interesting they made an NES version after the Super Nintendo version. Appreciate you guys watching the video as well. Be sure to hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. The turtles receive a strange letter. I offer you, turtles, A challenge. Let us meet in the streets of Manhattan and see which of us is the most powerful. Hey, thanks for hitting the like, my friends. Of course, you really don't stand a chance. Starting Shredder. Very close to the beaches in my area, actually. With a recent heat wave, it would have been a good time. So I think that with this being the NES version, we'll have less characters. We do get Casey, though. Hothead. Alright, let's begin. I will play as Leo. Leo and Ralph. Is that like an alternate, like a clone version of Ralph, because he's blue? Now, for a fighting game with 2 buttons, which means up is going to be jump on this one. Strangely, I'm doing better than I was on the other fighting game. But then this would be a 2-button fighting game. Oh. Oh, that took a lot of my health away. There's a power-up of some sort. Alright, okay. They came from behind on that one. CPU's gotten me. One boss, but all of the fighting games. In over his head. Don't lock me with those low kicks. How do you like it when I low kick? Is he eating my face? That's a dirty move. I know what these do. He beats me too quick to get the power up. Alright, well there are the fighting games on there. Obviously, practice makes perfect on those ones. So, those were the NES offerings. We also have the Game Boy games are included on this as well. Fall of the Foot Clan. Let's give that one a preview. Now, do we have the option here to change the colorization? No, just the TV filters, okay. Interesting we don't have the option to... You can choose the stage here. Don't have the option to have as if it was the Game Boy Color. Play as Leo, again. Not that we would be able to tell the colours from the grayscale here. Oh no, the jump and the attack button are the wrong way around. Remember, this is a Game Boy game, so it's actually fairly impressive considering. But if we did have the Game Boy Color options, it would pretty much only be like a color put onto the sprites and one colour put on all of the backgrounds. It wouldn't actually be coloured. It would be sort of like procedurally coloured, I guess you would say, depending on what the grade would be. Pizza? Nice. Nice and easy to play one here. This is for the handheld, of course, so what do you expect? Is it a leap of faith? Okay, you don't get a game over if you fall down into the depth below. I like how the enemies just come from the sky as well. From the sky at you. coming back at you. But yes, this is like the level of complexity I expect on a... Oh yeah, that's just gonna hit me. On a Game Boy game. Watch out for keys, also known as bats. We're playing Zelda. There, pizza, nice. Looks higher than I can jump. Oh, if you hold up, you jump higher. Take the high road. Ah, get off me. Very crisp looking though, like if you were to have like the best scalers and you were... Oh boy, that took a lot of damage. You'd still have a lot of trouble getting something to look as crisp as this from the original hardware. Like if I was to do Game Boy Player on the GameCube with RGB SCART through a line doubler. Asylum, look at the cute Game Boy turtle. He's about to go down, I think, from that trike. Oh, there's a pizza. Oh, he still hit me. Very cool though, Game Boy version to be included. I think the next time that bike comes around, I am Turtle Soup. Leonardo was captured. Alright, let's try the next Game Boy game on the collection. Back from the Sewers. No, Asylum! Darth Vader's scream at the end of the prequels. Oh, what a world! This is the second game on the Game Boy hardware. Oh wow, look at that! That's pretty cool. Considering this is Game Boy hardware, we've got pretty much the full NES style intro. Alright. I will play as... Oh, they're in reverse order this time round. Or a different order, I should say. Ooh, sample voices. Little faster scrolling on this game. Attack range, not so good. Hey, Be Right, how you doing, buddy? Welcome. Is it me, or is he not moving? Like, his upper body is not moving. It's a little slow moving, but I kind of expect that on a Game Boy game. He looks a little rigid though, the turtle that is. How you doing, Be Right? But it's still a cool inclusion to have this game on the Turtles collection. Definitely. You're doing good, Be Right? Yeah, it's definitely cool to see these on a collection together. It's a very good value to get these fully licensed versions. Definitely. Oh, is he going to throw pizza? So if I destroy him, I get the pizza. Good to know. Onto the city streets. He's very, very rigid. Like, only his arms are moving, and his legs. His, like, upper body. The character, that is. But, to be fair, these are quite tall sprites for a Game Boy game. Hey, throw that manhole at me. Pretty good looking Game Boy game as well. As we scour the streets, dispatching the Foot Clan on the way. I would say the character on this game is a little slow moving. I dodged the manhole but got hit by the Foot Clan soldier. Oh, that guy juggling at me. Oh, we've got alternate levels here. I could go on top. Do we prefer it on top? Could dodge the manholes that way, I guess. Ah man, those jugglers are the worst. They're having a laugh. Get the pizza though. Man, you get full HP back from that. It says pizza, the graffiti on the wall. Back into the sewers. Oh, we're gonna be buried alive. Buried alive. Did we leave the faith? Oh no, we're supposed to jump. Oh! This is a speed level. Whole place is going down from the bottom, I'm guessing. Oh, look at that guy with sliding low kick. Guess I'm just jumping these guys. Lots of places for enemies to come out from here. It's a rush. Oh, there's a lot of enemies. Oh, thanks. Give me a pizza. Oh, we got a boss. Oh, and bombs as well. Okay, he's stun locked when you hit him. Play this a little better, yeah. Now that I know how he attacks. Oh boy. Yep. Can't take any more of those. Ah. Takes you back, Trevor. It was cool though. I enjoyed that one. For a Game Boy game, you gotta remember, like, that was on Game Boy hardware. Very impressive. The third Game Boy game, Radical Rescue. I think this one's a Metroidvania game. Alright, new game. Got a password feature on this one as well. Yo, one up, how you doing, one? This one's confusing. Year has passed. While three of the turtles relax in their sewer retreat. A special bulletin from April O'Neil interrupts their favorite TV show. How you doing, one up, John? I am here at the scene of an incredible prison break. It seems that the criminal responsible is I. You good? You love the Cowabunga collection? They did do a good job for sure, one up, John. A lot of great games in this one. If you can combine the value of these games together, I think I paid $35 for this collection. I think you can get it for $30, but then with postage on top of that. I got this in a game store. Great value. Like, one of these games would cost that much. There's a lot of games on this collection for sure. And from what you can see, the emulation is pretty good. I would have liked maybe the option to add the Game Boy Color or Game Boy Advance color palettes to the Game Boy games. Other than that, loving what they did. You're going to get this after work? Seacrest tomorrow? Yeah, it's definitely very cool. Enjoying it thus far. I'm going to be coming back to these games as well, refreshing my memory. And giving them a good go. Just then, bizarre laughter crackles out of the TV. Your friends are mine now, little turtles. If you dare to rescue them, come to the abandoned mine at the edge of the city. Don't worry, gang. I'm on my way. What? No, that was the turtle this time. Saying that. Don't worry, gang. I'm on my way. Alright, I believe this one is a Metroidvania style game. So I think, okay, so we've got to save the other turtles first. Is there a map on this game? Yes, there is a map. So it is a Metroidvania style game. For a Game Boy, this is very ambitious. Oh, it's nice and fast as well. They didn't bother trying to make the, like, sprites really big and look impressive. They more sort of... Oh, the respawn rates are very fast. They're off screen, that is. Keep out. Well, obviously I'm going in then. Peace. Bats. Very typical enemy of any Metroidvania game. Dude, the music on this game is really good. Nice. There's a pizza over there. Dude, this game does make you hungry for pizza, I'm just saying. Or any of these games on this collection for that matter. Oh, there's a pizza, nice. Yes! I'll just take that anyway. Oh, you can add it to your inventory. Konami did great music, yeah, in this time for sure. One Up John, definitely a lot of good scores and chip tunes. Ow! Oh, falling rocks. Okay. There's a lot of different directions, like it. Ow. Nice try, Rock. Get him. This one is very enjoyable. For sure. Right, I probably want to use that pizza. Maybe use it automatically when you go down. Uh-oh. Oh wait, I can fire projectiles if I'm on this. There we go. Hey 64, what's up buddy? Welcome. Ow! Hey, nice, a pizza, that was handy. Very good music on this. Oh, that's a lot of spikes. Let's not go that way. Oh no! And a little bit of a delay between being able to use my weapon when I got up the ladder. I suppose you could keep fighting one enemy and hope to find pizza. I'm going to assume that item I have is used when I run out of hit points. Keep going down. Look for a card. Okay. How am I doing, 64? I'm doing good. Thanks for asking, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Oh, that's cheap. Uh-oh. There wouldn't be fire over there if there wasn't something good up there. Oh, okay, yeah, it is used when you run out of hit points. Oh, but I can't get up there. Alright, fair enough. How are you doing, 64? Oh, I can't get up there. Must need another item. Or to rescue another turtle with another ability. You doing good? Have Adam. Very cool game though. There's a lot of different areas in this game. Oh wait, that's just a pizza, isn't it? But I should take that anyway because it's hit points. That I can use later on. Don't have to use it immediately. Definitely one of the more curious inclusions. Could see myself coming back to this one for sure. No, I missed it. Oh, I think that's naughty. Ow. At least when you're hurt on this game, it doesn't keep beeping. It only beeps when you are hurt. Ah, I can't get over these. Yet. You do get pizza from random enemies on this as well. Ouch. I think I did just get one there actually, because I'm sure I took damage between that. Oh boy. Worse coming up here than it is coming down, because then you're jumping into the unknown. It's a shame you can only use the shurikens when you're on the ladder. You get stun locked a little bit when you come up on the ladder. Oh, well, that was cool though. Definitely. So the idea in those games as well as exploration as well. So you need to look around and find stuff. Definitely. Very cool though. Very ambitious a game as well for the Game Boy hardware. Alright, so those are all of the games included on this collection. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Turtles in Time arcade version as well. We had the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Turtles in Time Super Nintendo version. We had the Tournament Fighters game for the Super Nintendo. We also had Hyperstone Heist for the Genesis, and there was Tournament Fighters for the Genesis as well. We also had the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles NES game and the arcade game for the NES as well. We also had the Manhattan Project for the NES and Tournament Fighters for the NES as well. And then the very interesting inclusions were Fall of the Foot Clan on the Game Boy, and Back from the Sewers on the Game Boy as well, and the Metroidvania game Radical Rescue included on this collection as well. Let's take a look at the bonus features included on this collection as well. So we have the games, of course. There's the option of online and local play. And then we can go into the Turtles layer, where some extra content is available. So this is where you can see the boxes and manuals for each game if you would like to look at those. Got game boxes here, and we also have some game manuals. So many goodies, One Up John. Now you can, I believe, move these around as well. Yes, you can look at the back as well. And show me the controls game. So what is zoom in? Shoulder buttons. Okay. So we can zoom into these as well. Logos have been removed, but other than that, these are very accurate from the NES versions. The Japanese game. Back of that one. My only complaint is that it goes a little bit fuzzy as it switches, but that's just it loading rather than showing you a loading screen. Arcade game. And the back of that one as well. Very cool to see these 38 images in this collection, so I'm going to go through them quite quickly. There's definitely a very cool feature to be able to look at and zoom into these original boxes. Very cool to have this included. I know a lot of people are going to like to see these boxes. Which one is my favorite? My favorite is Turtles in Time. Most likely the arcade version, but the Super Nintendo version 64 is probably my favorite. I don't believe they will have the arcade marquees. Not including Hero Turtles 1 Up John. I'm not surprised really, that was only for the PAL region. So I think I can understand why they don't include another ROM file on the cartridge for just essentially a name change and what would probably be, if it wasn't converted as well as the 60Hz version, what would probably be a slightly less good version. They probably want to avoid confusion for the bulk of the audiences, which would be most likely people familiar with the IP as it was without the hero's name. So I get it. It would have been a nice inclusion, but to be fair, adding the Japanese versions in was already pretty good. So that was pretty cool as well. I like these Game Boy boxes as well. Definitely cool to see these included on this collection. All of the extras. Logos have been removed. I'm not seeing any. It actually does say Nintendo on the Game Boy packaging, but some things have been removed. But for the most part, these are pretty accurate as to what they would have been. You can see on the back of this box actually is what I was referring to about the colorization from Game Boy Color. This is a regular Game Boy game, but it's showing you how it would be colored on the back with like yellow and white if you were to play it on a Game Boy Color. So the game is not colored, but it could have looked that way. I'm wondering if there is an option that I didn't see. It didn't look like there was, it looked like it was black and white. Turtles 2. Japanese version in the back of that one. Radical Rescue was definitely one I'm going to revisit. I liked that one. It had a lot of potential to it. Again, it's showing the colorized version on the back as if it was being played from the Game Boy Color. Very cool. And if you were to go after any of these games individually, yeah, color filters would have been nice, One Up John. I'm not sure why they didn't include those. There's Turtles in Time box art for that one. At least the Super Nintendo version. Very cool. This one is a little bit more zoomed in from the default, which is a little bit more helpful. If you wanted to get a look at these, you could pause the video, of course, but these images are available elsewhere as well. I like seeing the different artwork and the different box shapes as well. Tournament fighters there. Wasn't too sure about the fighting games. I am a big fan of the beat 'em up games Fighting games, I feel like you have to remember the controls for them to be good at them. I prefer the beat 'em up genre. My favourite games on this collection were the beat 'em up games. Really enjoyed Hyperstone Heist, the Genesis one. Of course, they didn't include the European Mega Drive, but they did have the Japanese Mega Drive one in there. Would have preferred the front and back view of this rather than the inlay pulled out like that, but I get it. There is the Japanese Mega Drive. Music is nice. 64, definitely. Great music on this. They've done a great job here. Tournament fighters there. And the final image, Japanese artwork of tournament fighters. Alright, good stuff. We also have some game manuals here as well. I will dive into one of the game manuals, I think, and then I'll just show like the front and back. We'll have a little look at the NES, US NES manual here. See 9 pages here of how to play. So this is where you get your hints and tricks of the controls and what have you. Some information. I like that they do have these scans here. You can zoom in if you want to as well with the controls a little bit. Zoom in. Very cool. I always like having manuals. Now, to be fair, what I would have actually liked is a manual with the inclusion of the box here. Just having like the basic controls of each game on each page. That would have been nice, but I get that manuals aren't a standard inclusion currently, so I get why it wasn't included. But it would have been a nice inclusion. Maybe that would be something that they have in the. I know there's a very fancy special edition of this. Maybe something like that is included in that on an art book. But it's still very cool to have the option for these digital manuals, even if they don't have any paper inserts themselves. Yeah, the fire character, an ex-pyromaniac who's just on fire, one of the strangest characters. You miss manuals, one up? Yeah, I definitely miss manuals. It's crazy how they're not included these days. A digital manual is it's a thing, but then you have to like exit the game to look at it. Yeah, one if they have a free coupon zombie. Now I know that Shredder's Revenge from Limited Run Games did have a pizza coupon with it. They wanted to go full on like the original NES game had a pizza coupon from Pizza Hut with it. But as far as I'm aware, any other one did not have it, and Pizza Hut images were removed from the games as well, I think. So you've got a lot of manuals here, very cool. And indeed, John, I like to look at the artwork as well. I always used to at least flick through a manual before I would play a game as well, just to get some core information about controls and what have you. I like that you've got like the Japanese Famicom manuals as well as the American manuals. I mean, I wasn't expecting to have British European manuals in there, but it's still cool. They got all of them in here as well. Radical Rescue, I enjoyed that one a lot. Definitely got my money's worth with this collection. Like I said, if you wanted to get these second hand, build up this collection any other way, it would be extremely expensive. Hyperstone Heist was another one that was very cool. One of the more expensive games as well, Hyperstone Heist. Definitely. Pick that one up. But yes, very cool. There's the arcade instruction manuals in here as well. Did not expect that. We didn't have marquee artwork in the box art or standee artwork for the arcade machines, so I didn't expect to have the manuals for the arcade games. Used to watch a lot of the cartoons, 64. Ads and catalogs. Okay, that's pretty cool. Magazine advertisements, a catalog, and media kits. So we've got some artwork here for adverts. You can zoom into these as well. I'll skip through these pretty quickly, so you can probably find these online, or if you really wanted to, you could pause the video and examine the artwork. but there's a fair few of them, so I'm going to skip through them. These were inserts from magazines, or pages from magazines, where the artwork... Oh, that's one thing it didn't include, actually. Tiger Game handhelds. I said they included most of the 2D games, but to be fair, I'm not sure how much of a demand there would have been for the Tiger electronic handhelds. Those LCD, very limited movement on screen on those games as well. Pretty much just like very limited controls. You would have liked them to include that one up, John? I think maybe they didn't include it because a lot of modern gamers might be like, oh my goodness, this isn't 1080p. Tiger games, save for road trips. You know, I did have one or two of them. I don't think they survived from when I had them back in the day. But I had a couple of them. The one I still have is like it calls itself I've got like it's something called the Pro 200, which has that sort of gameplay. So it advertised itself as being like better than the Game Boy. It's like a calculator basically that has very limited games on it. And that was a funny device, and that actually I found in my back garden of my previous place, and it was still all right. It wasn't destroyed despite being out back for a number of years. Straight from the arcade. Did they ruin a real arcade machine for that commercial? Very cool to see these though. It's nice inclusion. In time. I will say one thing. This collection has made me quite hungry for pizza. It's all new, dude. Turtles have taken new steps to fight crime. The backing music is very nice as well. It's nice to have a look through these and see how they advertise these games. Especially comparable to different regions. The big spread there. Do I have any figures for the Turtles? Not anymore, Seacrest. I lost a lot of stuff. I used to have a lot of like superheroes. And I'm certain I did have some Turtles. I had some Power Rangers as well. I don't think they survived the last move I did, unfortunately. They got lost to time and space. But I did used to have them. These are very cool. It's nice to see these. So I'm just showing through them. It looks like Parodius advertised in the corner there. Konami parody shooter. Parodying Gradius among other things. Turn on the power. Not Nintendo power. This is blast processing. Fearless Foursome. Dude, some great games advertised today as well. These ads are great, one up. I'm taken aback by this. It's a nice feature. Return of Shredder. Who would know that Shredder would come back in around about 2022 as well? Nice. I like these advertisements. They're a nice inclusion. Very colourful as well. Shredders would trade these adventures for all the slime in Hollywood. They wouldn't. Tournament fighter games. Fighting games are cool, but my favourite thing about these games are the beat 'em up games. Very cool. Vampire Killer there. Castlevania. Another Konami classic. Tournament fighters. I like the background music here as well. Konami just took your favorite shows off TV and put them in a cartridge. Alright, good stuff. See, they've obviously removed stuff from that advertisement that they didn't have the ability to show. Catalog and media kits. It's pretty cool. Some information here. Check out our new ultra challenging, ultra exciting Ultra Games. Of course, Ultra Games was just another name because of the limitations that they were allowed to put out on the NES. Nintendo had a bit of a stranglehold on the industry at the time for the Nintendo Entertainment System, so they could say you can only put out so many games under one company. So then you would get stuff like, you know, Ultra Games, Powercom, just the same thing, but different division, allow them to put out more games. Message from a boss character. There's a lot of text there. If you really wanted to, you could pause and read it. They have very clearly removed stuff from these that they can't show, from the looks of it. Man. Snake's Revenge, Metal Gear on the NES. Heard rumors of a Metal Gear collection one-up. That'd be awesome. You know, at this time, Capcom have done some great collections. Konami as well. Hoping we've got Konami's, we've got Castlevania collections. At this time, they haven't actually done the Advanced collection. They've released it digitally, but not physically. Hoping they do that. Very cool to see these, though. Really awesome to have these, just to take a gander at these inclusions in this collection. Comic books. Now, I don't believe these are actual full comic books. I think they're just covers. IDW there. Yeah, just the covers. Still very cool. Lots of great comic developers out there. IDW, Dark Horse, you know, Marvel and DC. Some Magic the Gathering comic books out there that I like, pretty cool. This is a neat inclusion. It's a little bittersweet, I would say, that you don't have the full comic books, but you know, how much can they actually put onto the, you know, cartridge, and how much would they put onto the cartridge? You know, they would have to be paying for the full comic books from whomever made them, and then it's an extra feature, but they've got the covers there, so they've got covers for those, for several comic books here. Very cool. Adventures. Lots of these as well. Pretty cool. You know, I have a lot of comic books. They're one of the things that are sort of difficult to store. Like, how do you store comic books? You read the Adventure Comics? One Up? Yeah, it's like, do you put them in like plastic sleeves? You still have them? That's awesome. I've got a lot of Judge Dredd and 2000 AD, and I had a lot of Marvel and DC, but some of that might have been destroyed. That's the thing, with being paper, it's not super hard wearing. A lot of these here, though. It looks like, as I scroll through these, they are all just front covers, but still very cool. It's one of those things, it's like with video games. So you want to store them in a way that you can get to them. You don't want to lock them in like, you know, like plastic boxes so you can't get to them. Animated shows. Now, again, I believe this is just stills. I don't think it's actually the shows. That would have been a very cool inclusion, but I can understand why it wasn't a thing, because they would have had to have made space to fit the animated shows onto the cartridge, and then of course they would have had to have forked out extra for them as well. But there are some images of the animated shows on here, which is very cool. These are all just extras, or just sweeteners if you will. From 1987, as old as my NES is. Almost as old, about as old as myself. Very cool though. There's a certain charm to the hand-drawn animation as opposed to digital animation that they do these days. I very much enjoy that. You like all of this, Trevor? Yeah, it's nice and cool to see it and flick through it. Just some little extras. There's a lot of images on this one, 47. There's a lot of images on these as well. But very cool, very cool. Show went for many seasons. It's something definitely worth checking out. I'm not going through every picture here because there's a lot of pictures. And we have been streaming for just over 2 hours, so I have shown you guys all of the games. I gave you a good sample of what's there, and I'll sum up my final thoughts in a minute. But yeah, very cool. Definitely whets your appetite. Kind of makes me want to check out, reminisce on these shows, to be fair, as well. 2003, very modern shows here. Definitely see a change in animation style as well. A lot of the new cartoons are done with digital colouring, and often digital drawing as well. They can do a lot of stuff with modern technology. Very cool. I suppose there's a lot of people that these modern shows are their gateway into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. 3D graphics on this one, which is way more accessible than it used to be. So there's a lot of images here. 26 on this one, for example. You can see a lot of clips or stills, frames of these shows. 2018, Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Very cool. Different style as well. There'll be a lot of people where this was their gateway into the Turtles, of course. Alright, behind the scenes, style guide, excerpt. Oh man, that's cool. See how the designs and stuff like that? That's a nice addition. So to keep styling consistent, there will be guides and things like that handed between animators and what have you to make sure that all of the characters are drawn consistently. Concept documents, enemy designs, design documents, very cool. Got this for all of the games. That is very cool. Man, they've got a lot of extra features. Like all of the games, you know, like sprite sheets. Very cool. Like, obviously I won't be able to dive into all of these as we've already run away, but there are a lot of extra features here. Very cool. Storyboards as well. Dude, like 45 pages of storyboard? That's awesome. Animation frames, character models, character move designs, character costume concepts. Dude, that's a lot of stuff. So much content secrets. I did not expect this much stuff. Cinematics, animation cell art, Japanese box art designs, instruction manual illustrations, player select portraits, stage background designs. That's a lot of stuff. exactly one up. I'm glad it's preserved. This is a lot of stuff. And it is cool that they archived this, Trevor, for sure. Man, that's a lot of extra stuff. We've got music here as well. You go ahead and listen to your favourite tunes from the Turtles, Turtles in Time, Fall of the Foot Clan, Turtles 2 Back from the Sewers, Radical Rescue, Turtles in Time, Tournament Fighters. Great stuff. I actually really like that the mixtapes, the cassette tapes, for those of you from around about 1987, like myself and some others in the chat, playing the NES during that period, which is a while ago at this time. You remember cassettes. I played my video games on cassettes back in the day on the Commodore 64. Cassettes was what we used for data sets. Play the theme music here. Great stuff. Alright, and we got the strategy guides as well. And there's so much there that now I understand why there is a search function. You got these strategy guides for the games, tell you how to play them and get through them. You can zoom into these as well, of course. See what you're doing. Changing your tips. Great stuff. Definitely a very cool inclusion for this release. There's so much going on this. I'm not going to go through every page on this, but there's a lot of stuff there. We'll back out of that. Very cool. So there you have it, guys. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Cowabunga collection on the Switch. What do I think about this? Absolutely great value for money indeed, Seacrest. I think a lot of passion went into this. Definitely a fantastic release. Now, if you want to get like one of these games secondhand through like eBay or what have you, you are going to be looking at more money than this collection in of itself. Especially if you're going after something like Hyperstone Heist or a game like that. This collection retails for around about $30, $35. It's a great deal, especially if you maybe wait a little while and pick this up for less than that secondhand or as it goes down. I didn't notice any issue with the emulation of the games. They all played fine. It was my performance that was lacking when we showed the games, but if you go back through the video, you can see I sampled at least every one of the games. I didn't check out every version of the games, but I checked out every game and showed you a little gameplay footage of that. And even though my memory may have been lacking in some points, the games were definitely fulfilling in every sense. They're the games you expect. They ran as you expect them to play. Controls were great. I was playing with a Switch Pro controller. I had no issues with that whatsoever. It was advised from one of the comments that maybe using the NES or the SNES or even the Nintendo brand Genesis controller that you can get from the Switch Online function might work really well with these if they are compatible. You can see that definitely. But no issues with controls, no issues with the extra features, and the emulation didn't appear to have any unwanted or not present in the original slowdown or input lag. There definitely will be some input lag. That's something that happens with emulation, but it didn't appear to be notable. The extra features were amazing. The extra music they added in, the music functions were really good. They had the rewind feature, and it appeared to have save states for every game. Absolutely amazing. If you want them, they're there. The display options were exactly what you expected. You can have full screen, you can have borders, you can have widescreen. Everything you kind of want in that respect. No complaints there whatsoever. The thing that they really went overboard with and was very impressive to me is after we looked at the games, the expanded features for the box art, the manuals, the concept art, the music section where you can listen to whatever tracks that you want. Those over-delivered. That was much more than I expected. They have still images from the cartoon shows, the animated features. They had front covers of comic books, and the concept art and the advertisements were extremely interesting. And really, I could spend a lot longer than I spent during this live stream checking those out, definitely. So that sort of stuff was very intriguing. It doesn't feel like it was just tagged on. It feels like something that is incredibly interesting, at least to me, that I would definitely like to see, and I found it great to have that on here. And it's a lot more than I have seen on other collections, where some collections just have a little bit of concept art, but this had a lot of stuff, like a lot of extra stuff. So, to sum up, sounds great, didn't hear any audio issues. Granted, I have my volume turned down because I am live streaming and I'm not using headphones. I'm using a feature on my microphone to get rid of unwanted noise. So, I have the volume turned down, but what I heard sounded great. Sounded exactly correct to what it did in the original games. The arcade games, for example, sounded as they did. Even if the sound effect on the arcade game was maybe a little awkward, it sounded like it should have done. So the music, sound effects sounded good, balance sounded good, gameplay played great, the value is definitely there, great value for money collection. So yeah, I definitely recommend this. I recommend picking up the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Cowabunga collection on the Switch. It's definitely getting a thumbs up for me. It may even get 2 thumbs up on an undefined rating scale. But definitely, I don't have a bad thing to say about it. Honestly, there's not a bad thing to say about it. Great collection. Physical version, it did have a update, but that is pretty much standard. These days, it was a very small one, so it didn't really take us much time to get into the action. And yes, there you have it. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Cowabunga collection. The only thing I would say, just searching for any minor detraction, is they didn't have the Tiger games, but I didn't really expect them to have them anyway. They might have been able to have them included by just having, like, you know, the outside of the system and then a small screen, but I can understand why they didn't pick those. Modern gamers might find them a little bit weird. And they didn't have the PAL versions, but then I didn't really expect them to have the PAL versions if they were going to have the American versions. There's not a lot of difference. You want to see a Zelda collection, Trevor? That would be good, actually. I think it's unlikely, unfortunately, with Nintendo, because they have their Nintendo Online gimmick at the moment. But it is a possibility, because I think they know if they did that, people would buy it. But definitely this collection, something like this, for other IP, I hope that the prevalence and hopefully the sales of a collection like this does prompt other companies to follow in suit, and it was definitely awesome. Yeah, for sure, Trevor. They would definitely make money if they did a Zelda collection. Awesome. They did do the Mario 3D collection, and that did pretty well. So that being Nintendo, that is. And as I would imagine, this collection here is going to do very well. So I like seeing these collections. I hope we get more of them for sure. And just to sum up, guys, awesome collection. Don't have a bad thing to say about it. I really had to stretch to find anything that I would think of a detractor. Great gameplay, great music, great features, great value. So there you have it. Thank you for watching, guys. Thank you for checking this out. Thank you for being a part of this, and thank you for supporting the channel. I have been MVL. I'm definitely going to play some more of these in my spare time. It is a fantastic value for money collection. And we have just reviewed the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Cowabunga collection on the Switch. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being awesome. I've been MVL, and I will catch you next time.